What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the show, and we are into part 3 of 5 on inside sales mastery. So in this section, we're going to jump into the meat of our presentation and what we are doing on the actual call, how we are taking the presentation and really presenting it in an effective way to our customer, our prospect, and sort of the mindsets and the approaches behind all of that. We've gone over sort of the energy, the activity, the strategy to set you up. We've talked about introduction, opener, and qualifying, and then we've gone into transition. And now we're in the presentation piece. It's like, what do you do when you actually get someone who's like, all right, what do you got? What can you sell me? And you want to take control of that call, drive it the way you want to go. What do you do at that point? So stay tuned because we're going to dive into the details of that. When you are getting into your transition, you sort of open them with some attention, you've thrown out a little bit of value, and now they're like, okay, cool, give me your 2-minute rundown. Really what you want to be thinking is you want to strike rapport as quick as possible. And rapport is when you have common ground, when you have a really quick connection. The idea here is that people buy from people they like people that they're similar to. Generally speaking, this doesn't mean you have to copy the person exactly, but what it does mean is you want to mirror and match a lot of their sort of approach. Mirroring and matching is really just about finding the style, the tone, the volume, the sort of way that the person is communicating and adjusting so that you're in a similar style. If the person is too quiet and you're overbearing and really loud and really strong on the phone, you're gonna shut them down. They're gonna feel overpowered and they can't really connect with that person. If the person is really loud and gregarious and you're just coming in really soft, not a lot of strength, not a lot of volume, then they're not going to connect with you. They're just not going to hear you. They're not used to that. They don't connect at that level. So you really want to find the style because that allows you to build rapport. And with rapport, you're going to be able to take them and go from being a cold inside sales prospector, someone that calls them out of the blue, to someone that like, maybe this person has something worth listening to. Maybe I can actually look at this person as an advocate to me instead of an adversary. Someone who's not just trying to take my money and sell me something to hit their quota, but someone who's actually trying to sell me a product that they believe can help my business, help me, and is looking out for my best interests. So as you think about that as a sort of backstory and mindset to your approach, you want to be thinking about demonstrability and helping the consumer, the customer, understand how your product works. So one of the big pieces of selling in any product or service is demonstrability, demonstrating how your product works, why it works, and why it's better than the competition. So in this case, when you're explaining your service, for us, it's a marketing product for real estate agents. We're demonstrating what it does, how it reaches the consumer. So all the consumers on the internet are on Facebook and Instagram. We have a product that we show up on the news feed of Facebook as well as the Instagram feed for all the homeowners, all the home buying, home shopping consumers in a given targeted market. And we put that agent's face, our customer, his face, as well as his page, along with our marketing message in front of all those consumers. And we're able to then make him front and center of the main spot where they're actually showing up, which allows us to generate business for the agent. And so when you're talking to the agent on the phone, you're explaining, hey, where are all the eyeballs? Are you in front of the eyeballs? If you're not, this is what we do. This is how we do it. This is why it works. I'm demonstrating to the consumer, to the agent, how he's going to reach the consumer, how she's going to reach the consumer, how she's getting exposure. How does the lead come to them? How does it work? What is it doing for them? How does it really benefit them?
It's story time.
So another concept I want to mention is the idea that facts tell and stories sell. So remember that. Facts tell, stories sell. When you can tell an agent that there is another agent that you're working with that started with you, that got these kind of results and has now had tangible proof and success in the product that you're using, that can be a really powerful selling tool. A lot of great presenters out there are going to tell you a story. They're going to say, John started with our product back in November. He only had $500. That was all he had left in the bank. He put everything he had into our product. And when he was done, after 3 months, he had 3 deals in escrow and he had another deal fully closed, and he's working with 2 other buyers. See, that story is different than me saying, I'm going to put you in front of every consumer and they're going to contact you. There's not as much emotion. There's not as much relatability. It doesn't sound as tangible. So when you're presenting your product, you're thinking of ways to demonstrate how it works, why it's better and superior than the other products that are in the marketplace, but you're also looking for ways to inject real relatable stories to the consumer and the customer that you're actually working with. So get strong at demonstrating why your product works. You need to be able to explain to the prospect, why is this better than the other products? I get a lot of calls from people that are calling me on the phone, and I'll even give them the chance to pitch me their product. When they do, it's almost always terrible. There's not a lot of emotion or energy. There's not a lot of clarity around what they're trying to sell me. And oftentimes they don't even know what I'm doing or ask me what I'm doing. So that piece of the puzzle is really important. The other part of the presentation is finding their pain. And I love to do this because it really sells the service or product for you. So when you get on the phone with the customer, the prospect, what you're looking to do is find the gap. All right, if I'm selling a real estate Instagram marketing solution to a real estate agent, I need to see if they're doing anything in that arena. So the first thing I'm going to do is, once I've transitioned from my opener, I'm going to explain a bit. I'm going to say, hey, we're a company, we spend over 10 million in advertising over the last 7 years. We have over 100 clients. We do about 40,000 in sales every month in real estate marketing. And at this point, what we've done is we've built a product that's very straightforward, where we show both the agent on both Instagram and Facebook, the 2 largest social platforms on the planet. And we put you with a call to action message that's proven to generate inquiries, proven to generate leads, so that the leads are then directly in real time fed over to you. Now that's a lot of a mouthful to send, but I'll usually start with that to explain, hey, this is what we're doing, this is the exposure you're getting. And now that I've spent 90 seconds, 120 seconds explaining what the product is, I'm going to transition into a question. I'm going to go, all right, let it breathe a little bit, make it a 2-way street. I know that was a lot to say. Are you doing anything on social right now to generate leads? Are you doing anything with Facebook ads, with Instagram, and is it producing? Half the agents are going to say no, or half the agents are going to say, I tried this, it didn't work, or I tried that, the leads were bad, or I'm on this service, they're charging me this much money, and this is what they do. Most of the products out there are not going to be worth much, and they're really not going to generate a lot of results. There are so many products online that do marketing that is not related to performance. It's kind of a joke. They do a lot of branded stuff, which I do value, but at the end of the day, for a real estate agent, a lot of them are running a business and they need to have an efficient lead generation resource. And what we offer is something that really can't be matched. And so I am looking to find that gap. I'm looking to find the disconnect between their business and what our business offers, this product offers. So whatever the product is that you're selling your customer, Once you've hit them with that quick kind of commercial preview value, as I like to call value slap, then you want to ask, hey, are you doing this? Is there anywhere you're doing this? Because if you're not, this is super critical and you're missing a huge piece of the market. People are way more afraid of missing something than they are of gaining something. So when you can outline a pain point, a missing point, an area of like their marketing completely missing things, you're gonna gain massive credibility. You're gonna strike a nerve. You're really gonna hit into the emotion of what's gonna trigger the buying activity. So at that point, you're gonna guide your product and service and demonstrate it in a way where you can take the conversation from what's going on with what they're doing to what they actually need to be doing. You've explained a bit of how the product works. You've asked some questions to find out where they are. And depending on where they are is really where you're gonna take the conversation. It's gonna depend a lot on how they're talking to you. As a general rule though, and for the framework, what you're gonna wanna do is typically explain a demonstration of the product, talk a bit about how the product delivers results, what kind of results your clients, existing clients are getting. If you don't have existing clients, make up a story. It doesn't have to be totally real. It can be in theory. You can say something like, yeah, so this is the kind of results we're getting, and this is what an agent can expect to see. Or this is what X customer can expect to see. You really don't have to worry too much. And once you get one customer, you can then quickly jump to your story. So typically you could say like your beta test is your first customer and those are your results. But again, story sell, facts tell. You're really trying to sell here and you're going for the close. So as you're finding out where their pain point is, as you're digging into where the gap is, and as you're sizing up what they're doing, you're leveraging all that information to then display your product and demonstrate how your product is bigger, better, brighter, more effective, and offers more value. And frankly, if it doesn't, then you probably need to talk to your product team and figure out why it doesn't and why you expect to sell this thing when you're making a product that is subpar or sub-competitiveness. There's got to be an edge to your product that other consumers and other services don't offer. And the other thing is, you as a sales rep are an edge as well. You have to remember that when you're selling your product, your services, your ability to communicate with your customer, to meet their needs, to make the transaction easy and their experience with your business easy is a huge value add. In fact, a lot of people will buy purely on that, even if your product is subpar, not necessarily the best, because they like you and they believe that you're going to stand by what you say and you're going to make things easier for them. There's a lot of businesses out there where literally the sales, the presentation, the meat of it is separating a commodity, something that's very similar. Think of a real estate agent. The difference between one real estate agent and the next, they do the same thing. They write a contract, they review contracts, they do transactions, but it's the individual, it's the sales skills, their ability to problem solve, to overcome challenges, objections, to help support their clients' best interests, to take care of their clients, that really allows them to be successful. And that's really what it comes down to in sales. So when you think about these people that you're calling, how is your product supporting them? And how are you going to do a better job than the next comparable product in how you support your clients and take care of your book of business? So we're running a little bit long here and I want to wrap on a few different points, but to get to the meat of it, you're going to demonstrate your product. So in our case, we have a marketing solution. It shows up on every feed. It shows up in front of the consumers, the customers our business partner wants to reach. It shows them in the most relevant place on the planet, the most active social media platforms. And it allows them to be shown with a very direct call to action that is built out with an API and connection that links them to the actual direct contacts, so that the actual consumer goes and gets connected right to them. When you think about your product, there's gonna be a million different features that you're gonna have that you can pull. Pick the top 2 or 3. Don't get complicated with it. Don't go into a feature download and dump all these features on your customers. You have to keep it very simple. Focus on demonstrability and selling with stories. Focus on that in your presentation. Find the pain, find the gap, expand it, and then fill that need, that hole with your product and show why it fits there. There's objections. We're going to talk about those in the next video. So I hope that was helpful. Again, I'm going to put more in the post in terms of actual tangible direct application and scripting for the presentation, because presentations are so dynamic and so case by case. When you're early on, the script I put in here will really help you, and I might add a bonus section at the end of the 5-part series to really dive into like just working through some of the scripts. But by and large, these points are going to get you to where you want to go. So until next time, we're going to get to the objection piece and the actual closing and all of that in the next 2 parts. But until next time, keep crushing and let me know what you think.